Hey everyone! Well, surprise, we are actually going to be hosting tonight's episode of the Wealthy Boss Show right here inside our private Wealthy Boss Community Facebook group because something totally bonkers just happened with my Facebook app and it won't let me go live on my Facebook page. You don't care the reasons. Anyway, we're in here tonight and hey, it could be fun. Maybe we'll get some more people interacting just from our group, which of course the people in this group are the coolest ones to even watch. So tonight we are talking about the halo effect. What I mean by the halo effect is healthy sounding foods that actually have a dark side. So this is pretty important to talk about because, on a day-to-day basis, we are usually having to make snap judgments, do kind of fly by the seat of our pants, do the best that we can as we're managing business and health and family and all of these different things that we think that we're all doing the best that we can. What's unfortunate about that is that the health food industry, or I should say the food industry, knows that right now the health trend and eating clean is really trendy, it's sexy, it's hot. So unfortunately, what that means is the food industry often disguises foods and kind of promotes and markets foods to look like they're healthy when really they're not doing you any favors. And the reason I want to talk about a few of these foods tonight is not because I want to be some drill sergeant who's worried about whether or not you drink orange juice, but because you're trying to make healthier choices, you're trying to maybe lose weight, you're trying to feel better, and I don't want you undoing all that hard work on things that are health, quote unquote, health foods. I'm all about enjoying your food and getting pleasure and being able to not be super rigid about nutrition. But hey, if you're gonna spend the calories, at least let it be on something good that you know about, right? Not on your health food. So tonight we're gonna talk about 5 different foods that you kind of need to be a little bit more cautious about than maybe you thought. And we'll come up with some different substitutes and some different things to think about instead. And of course, this all falls under the umbrella of wanting to look our best, feel our best, most importantly, and be able to sustain our healthy habits long term. So the first super surprising one to some of us that just, for some reason, it's a pet peeve of mine that people think it's healthy, that companies market it as really being this health food, and that's yogurt. Almost all yogurt. Now there's some exceptions, so we'll talk about those, but typically we think that we're making a healthy snack choice or healthy breakfast when we grab like a flavored yogurt. There are, hi April, good to see you in here. There are so many myths about yogurt. Most of us don't realize that your typical, any of your brands, your typical flavored yogurt is actually packed with sugar and oftentimes artificial flavors as well. Oikos, is it Oikos? I have to look at my notes real quick. Yeah, Oikos itself, one of the popular brands, and this is not to pick on Oikos. Most of the flavored yogurts have similar metrics. Guess how many grams of sugar are in one little teeny tub of a flavored Oikos or similar to a Chobani? Just a little teeny tiny serving. 19 grams of sugar. 19 grams of sugar in one little serving. Guess how many grams are in a Snickers bar? How much sugar is in a Snickers bar? Just one more. 20 grams of sugar in a Snickers bar. 19 grams of sugar in yogurt. This sugar is really stealthily hidden and it's not doing us any favors. Now, I do think there's some ways that we can enjoy yogurt. That's again that your standard, what's really usually heavily marketed, what's usually most conveniently packaged. Now, there are some healthy ways to enjoy yogurt. There's some benefits to yogurt. There are a lot of probiotics in them, which can help maintain the proper digestive balance that we want. But we want to be careful about how we do it. Even yogurt in and of itself, even lactose has some degree of natural sugar, so we don't really need to be adding sugar on top of it. So I recommend either using just plain unsweet Greek yogurt, and it's really more of a good base for things if you want to mix them with recipes. I do a healthy, like a clean eating tuna noodle casserole that uses that instead of processed crap. So it does have a lot of protein if you go with Greek yogurt, but just look for the unsweetened. If you're using it for breakfast or you want something sweet, mix in just some simple fresh fruit, berries, or here's a little pro tip, if you want something that's a little bit more juicy and flavorful, then make a compote out of frozen fruit. So I have a way that I do this. So I have a recipe for a peach pie porridge, and I'll tell you how to get that recipe at the end. And it combines Greek yogurt, flax meal, some really, really good stuff. But then I make the kind of the filling, it almost tastes like a peach pie. I just take frozen sliced peaches, and then I steam them for just a little bit, and then I add coconut oil to them. So it tastes really, really good. It's got some healthy fats in there, and it tastes real just like ooey gooey and yummy, but it's completely natural. You're not adding any of that added sugar. So those are some ways to enjoy yogurt that are going to be beneficial, but when you're reaching for the flavored stuff, it's just not, for me, it's not how I want to spend my sugar. I'd rather have, you know, some really good dark chocolate or some ice cream now and then than to be taking in a ton of sugar through yogurt. And by the way, the American Heart Association really recommends that you cap your total sugar intake for the day at 20 grams of sugar, and that's for adults, 12 grams for children. I even think 20 grams is a little bit high myself. I think that's generous. So just keep that in mind. According to American Heart Association, you've already crossed that sugar threshold just in one teeny tiny little cup of yogurt. So yogurt, I'll get off my soapbox for now on the yogurt front. But just remember that when you think that that's really your healthy snack of choice, not so much. It's a little bit like a wolf in sheep's clothing. Secondly, we're also kind of a similar theme. You'll notice that 4 out of the 5 foods tonight have a similar theme, and that's, spoiler alert, sugar. But protein bars and granola bars, again, it's really, really marketed as being health foods, as being, you know, you'll find them at fitness fairs, you'll find them in the health foods aisle, and you know, energy bars, protein bars, granola bars, they really shroud themselves in this whole imagery of being good for you and being the healthiest choice, and somehow like you're making sacrifices eating them. You know, you'll have pictures of those super rich 6-pack abs with someone, you know, eating this chocolate all sexily. Well, protein bars can be just as bad or even worse than Snickers bars. Power bars have 26 grams of sugar. And that's actually even more than a Snickers. That's legitimately a substantial amount more than a candy bar. And most of them, honestly, most of the protein bars out there that you buy off the shelves are just not a good choice. Now, there's also an opportunity cost with this, because I've been there. I used to kind of close my eyes and just go at least pick maybe a Quest bar or one of the ones that were a little bit cleaner, a little bit shorter list of ingredients, less sugar content. But even so, what happens is we often tend to use this as a meal replacement or somehow just something to tide us over instead of getting those real nutrients that we get. I'm sorry, but anything labeled cookies and cream probably is not going to be as nutritionally beneficial to you as eating, you know, an orange or having some almonds. Not to say that we have to eat completely strict or clean, but again, you don't want the majority of your health foods to actually be something that you may as well go out and have junk food with. A lot of protein bars also pack a really long list of ingredients, chemicals, artificial sweeteners, and just really no bueno. I wish I could recommend a good one. I really am not in love with any pre-packaged ones right now. If you have to choose, I would say Quest Bar. They have probably the shortest list of ingredients and the lowest sugar content, although there's still kind of some stuff that's up for debate with Quest Bars as well. So I would say, you know, use them just in a pinch, and definitely look for ones with lower sugar, 8 grams of sugar or less, preferably. Learn how to read that sugar label. I don't expect you to become an expert at reading labels or to spend your whole life doing it, but you really want to be avoiding anything that has more than about 8 grams of sugar max at one sitting. So it really are better off though if you're looking for those quick portable snacks. You know, an apple with peanut butter. Just keep it basic. Apple with organic peanut butter. Veggies and hummus, that makes a great afternoon snack. Or if you're really on the go and you can't, you know, just silly throw those in your purse, even just some nuts and string cheese. I like nuts of all kinds, and salt them if you want. That's going to be better than grabbing that really sugar-filled protein bar to keep you going through the day. Granola bars, kind of same story, tons of carbs and sugar typically, and just not really doing you any favors. They're really keeping you too from getting all the real whole nutritious foods that you need and the micronutrients from fruits and vegetables and produce. Have I depressed you yet? I hope not. Feel free to drop comments below as well. Juices. So juices, this is probably where some people might differ in opinion with me, but here I go. I'm not really a big fan of juicing, at least not the way most people consume juice. Now, there are such things as vegetable juices, and that's great, but you really have to be careful. I think most of the ones that are packaged and marketable really don't have a really high vegetable content. Again, you kind of want to look at the sugar content. I do think natural sugars are, of course, better than what you're going to get from pouring some syrup into your food, of course. But at the same time, taking in lots and lots of juice, so it's drinking an orange juice, and especially at breakfast, your body's not really used to handling that much sugar all at once, unless, say, you're getting ready to go for a really, really long run. If you're competing in endurance sports, which most of us in here are running businesses, so most of us aren't doing that. But the body really doesn't know what to do with just straight juice. It's not accompanied with a fiber that a normal piece of fruit would have or a normal vegetable. So the body just absorbs it differently than if you were taking in the whole piece of fruit or the whole vegetable. Now, that being said, I do like, if we're careful about them, I do like smoothies. So smoothies are where you actually use a blender and use the whole fruit or vegetable. What that does is it's not extract. Sorry about that. Got a phone call right in the middle of it, wouldn't you know? So a blender is going to take the whole food, the whole piece of fruit, the whole vegetable. It's going to include the skin. It's going to include the fiber, and it's not, like I said, extracting the juice from, say, 30 apples and compressing it into one, sugar-bound glass. It's going to be a lot more easily digested and absorbed, and a lot more balanced by the body. Still, though, do be careful. I don't love using a juice base for a smoothie, and I do think there's such a thing as overdoing fruit consumption at once. I'm not one of those people that says don't eat fruit, because I think the nutrients in there are so important, and if it grew from the earth, chances are likely that it's good for you. But just be careful, especially in the morning. I really love not starting your day off with a lot of carbohydrates, giving your body a chance to process the carbohydrates from the day before. It takes about 12 hours for the body to process carbohydrates. So if we go to bed at 7, or not go to bed at 7, but if we have had our last meal at 7 with carbohydrates and we get up at 7 a.m. and have a fruit smoothie with bananas and mangoes and apple, and especially if we've just added juice on top of that, then we don't really ever give our bodies a chance to go into fat burning mode. The body will not burn fat until it is out of carbohydrate stores. And again, it takes the body about 12 hours to cycle through those carbohydrate stores. So you definitely drink smoothies. Of course, fruits and vegetables are good for you, but try to get them in their most natural state, or at least blend it up so that they're really in their whole form. Next on our list, we are moving right along, is natural sweeteners. So again, take this with a grain of salt. I don't want you to become super strict or paranoid about what you are every bite you put in your mouth. But I do want you to be educated and aware so that you can make the best choices for you, especially if you're trying to lose weight and maybe you've been frustrated that you are eating healthy foods but not really seeing the results that you'd like. So natural sugars, we just want to be careful about and just understand the impact that they have on our body. So especially honey. Honey is seen as very wholesome. It's seen as something that is always a good choice. And well, of course, you're not going to get some of the same garbage from those artificial sweeteners or refined cane sugar. It does have some nutritional properties. So, for example, local raw honey can be a really good antidote to allergies. My doctor actually recommended that I start taking local honey when it's allergy season, so that my body has a chance to build up a resistance to the pollen in the air. So for me, it might make sense to add some honey in my diet during allergy season because there are some nutritional benefits and properties of it. What we want to understand, though, is that if we're trying to lose weight, honey is still sugar, and so the body is still recognizing that as a sugar. It's taking in that energy, it's spiking your insulin, and if you're not putting that energy into use right away, basically if you're not running away from a bear, as our biology has trained us to do, or if you're not getting ready to go run a marathon, then you're not able to use that that energy in your body right away, and so it gets converted to fat. So just do recognize, of course, there are some nutritional benefits or reasons to prefer a natural sugar like honey or agave. And agave is a little bit more slowly released in your system, so that's even maybe a little bit better than honey. But overall, sugar in your system in highly concentrated amounts is still going to lead to weight gain. And if weight gain is a big priority for your nutrition, then you might just want to start to look at cutting out some of these sweetened foods. Stevia, it's still kind of a toss-up with stevia. Stevia does not have any calories, so it doesn't, and it wasn't originally thought to spike your insulin because it didn't have any calories, so it didn't have any sugar content. However, a lot of studies now are showing that the body is just really smart, and when it perceives sweetness, it kind of responds to any sweet stimuli the way it would to a real sugar. So the jury's still out with stevia. It's definitely the most natural pick, and if you're trying to kind of wean yourself off of a lot of sugar, it's going to be healthier than the refined sugar for sure, but we just don't go crazy with it and think that it's not going to have any effects in your body, because that's not necessarily true. And diet soda is kind of for the same. So even though those artificial sweeteners, of course, first they're crap. They're just loaded with chemicals that we're not quite sure even what they're doing to our body. But again, just keep in mind that it may also have that effect of still spiking your insulin and still causing your body to react. And in some cases, it might actually be worse because your body's expecting calories. And when it doesn't get those calories along with it, it can kind of throw off its whole balance in its whole system. So keep that in mind. Our last and final food group tonight is actually really different from the others and needs a little bit of a caveat, and that's egg whites. No, egg whites are not bad for you, but there's an opportunity cost when people think that egg whites are the healthiest choice for them, and so they order their egg white omelets or they fix their egg whites and veggies for breakfast. Leaving out the yolk is a really high opportunity cost, because the yolk is actually shown to be the most nutritious part. It's definitely 80s science that has been far, far disproven by now that still adheres to the fact that eggs are high in cholesterol, and thus that cholesterol is going to give us cholesterol, or eggs are high in fat, and thus that is going to give us fat. Dietary fat does not make us fat. In fact, good, high-quality, natural sources of fat are one of the best things we can give our brain. Our brain relies on those healthy sources of fat, and ironically enough, it's one of the best ways to lose weight. So egg whites, don't be afraid to add those eggs back in. When you see that healthy, quote-unquote, healthy egg white omelet on the menu, ask them to throw the whole egg in. So many nutrients are found in that egg yolk: vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, folate. It's very, very high in folate, which if you are pregnant or nursing or about to be, that's a nutrient that is definitely recommended by every OBGYN to make sure that you're getting into your system. So folate is there, choline, which is really essential for brain function, liver function, energy, and even metabolism, you guys. So to have a good metabolism, you actually want to be adding those egg yolks back in. Iron, just almost all of the good stuff is found in the egg yolk, a lot of protein, antioxidants. So don't be afraid to add those egg yolks back in. So that's at least a positive for you. I gave you that list of things you shouldn't eat, but there's a list of things, something you can add back in. So in general, obviously whole foods are best. Real foods are always better. When you're reading labels, if you have to have a food with a label on it, of course, it'd be best if we didn't, but this is real life and we're all busy. So if you're getting any packaged foods or foods with a label on it, you know this stuff already, but let's just reiterate that short labels, words you can pronounce, are always a safer bet. We want to be fueling our body with primarily real food, and then if we're going to indulge, really indulge in the good stuff. It starts to lose its power if we plan those indulgences just a little bit. It just loses its power. It kind of takes that craving away, and suddenly it becomes not quite such a deprivation frame of mind. So I'd rather you save up your calories for something good, enjoy it, and then be getting those benefits and results that you want, and finding a sustainable pace that keep up over time. So I do have a list, because I just told you basically everything that you probably shouldn't be having for breakfast. So I have a solution for you. I have a recipe guide. It's free for you to download, and it is 4 weeks worth of make ahead breakfast recipes. So you can make it once for the whole week and then not have to think about it in the morning. They are high protein, they are low carbohydrate, and they can all be made in 10 minutes or less. So you can download that free recipe guide at wealthyboss.com/breakfast. And again, Wealthy Boss is spelled W-E-L-L. So wealthyboss.com/breakfast. I would love to hear how you enjoy the recipes. The peach pie porridge that I mentioned earlier is on there. What else have I got? A berry bowl, protein plate. I forgot the last one. You're gonna have to download it to find out. So I am ecstatic that you are here tonight. Please leave your comments in the below. If you're catching the replay, I want to hear what you thought about this, if anything was surprising to you, and definitely check out those recipes. I am usually every Tuesday night found at the main Facebook page, Wealthy Boss, or facebook.com/Wealthy Boss. Tonight, as I mentioned, I was having a really weird tech issue, so that's why I decided to hop in here. But of course, it was fun. I hope you join me every week. And again, I am here to fuel your dreams because I know that your dreams are so important. I just want you to be able to sustain that pace and take care of yourself so that you can keep fueling your dream and getting your ambitions out and getting your passion and your work out to the world. Take care, everyone.